everybody. This is a wild show we have for you because Mikey Pelletier is on hiatus in a state that we're not going to announce today. And I brought along my friend, Mike Regan. So, hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, everyone. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you got it. You got it. Thank you. And my other friend, Eric Carlino. Hi, Eric. See, it's as awkward as possible.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We're having everybody from Leo Braun on, so it's going to be, we'll never have room for guests because there's so many awesome Leo Braun.
There are a lot of us, that's for sure.
Yeah. So since this show is so wacky and wild, and we're just switching out mics willy-nilly, and I found this really sultry mic for us, I'm going to let Mike, he brought a question along for Eric Carlino of Leo Braun fame and above. Mike, just swing for the fences here.
All right, swing for the fences. I just want first to say, Mike, I hope I'm able to fill your shoes and honor your role. Honor the Mike-ness of this. See how it goes? Yeah, anyhow. So thanks for the opportunity, Mike. Eric, I had a Ford Mustang 2010. It's the one, I think some might say the least attractive. Maybe it was earlier than that. I had one of the bubble ones.
The 90 ones.
It wasn't a very attractive Ford Mustang. It was a GT. It had brilliant power, and I loved it. Convertible was awesome. And when I was looking at your website and then other pieces of social media, I saw that you had a Mach-E blue
indeed. Yes.
comment thing. I would love to know. I'm not a car guy, but I'd love to know more about Mustang.
There's a lot of people that give it a lot of flack because it is the first ever electric Mustang. It is 100% electric.
Wow.
It's also 4 doors, which is a departure from the classic Mustang. I didn't name it. Blame Ford on that one. They decided to go with the Mustang moniker on it. I think it would have been fine just calling it the Mach-E. But, yeah, I will proudly declare, and I will die on this hill, that I am the owner of a Mustang. So I'm going with that.
Does it have a racing stripe? Like, what did...
No, but I have thought about adding a racing stripe down the hood, just because, and this sucker is fast. I mean, of course, as an electric,
right.
0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds.
Whoa.
This thing hauls some serious ass.
Very nice.
Seems fine. You got any straightaways nearby?
I mean, I'm not too far off of I-95, so I'm not going to say how high I've gotten it up to.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be law enforcement watching this, so.
His name's Leo Braun.
One thing that happened to me with when I had my Mustang, and I was unprepared for it because I don't know if we didn't have kids yet. Anyhow, like, I would get not challenged at lights, but like other muscle cars would kind of pull up beside me and do a bit of a rev thing, and I'd be kind of like, I'm such a dork in some situations, and so I just felt very dorky, like, oh, hey, how you doing? What do you want? I think they wanted to, like, let's see how far we can race. I don't know what the fuck they wanted. Pardon my language, but do you have that at all? Do people kind of chat?
No lie, Mike. This actually happened to me just last week.
Okay.
I had someone pull up to me. I forget what car he was in, but I could see he just looked over and he's like, I want to see what this thing can do. And I freaking owned him.
Oh, good.
I switched it into sport mode. The moment the light turned green, I was gone. He was in the dust.
And you heard,
You heard absolutely nothing, which is great.
The
All
wheels.
I heard was my...
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny thing about the car is Ford actually put in artificial propulsion sounds, which you can turn on or off.
Way. Oh,
I
wow.
think it's the corniest thing in the world, but
Hilarious.
I'm sure there's probably somebody out there who loves it, but it
That's
sounds
brilliant.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
I love that we can Tarantino this thing because obviously you're a successful man in some form. Okay. Tell me what you're doing now that isn't voiceover, unless it's only voiceover, and then let's get into the VO of the thing. Thank you, Mike, for that fun opening. I've actually never talked to anybody who owns a Mach-E, so you're a first. It's a first.
That's cool.
What's going on outside of VO? Biggest priority in my life, honestly, is probably just raising my son. I have a son with autism, so raising a child with special needs has been a challenge for sure. Just making sure that to be patient with him and give him the services that he needs, the attention. Fortunately, he's fairly high functioning. He actually just joined a baseball team for kids with special needs.
Oh, heck yeah.
First week out there, he was terrified. Wouldn't go out on the field. We were out, not this past weekend, but the weekend prior. It was like a different kid out there. He's running the bases. He's batting. He's playing the field. And I'm like, who is this kid, and where was the kid that was there last week? Because he's having fun. He's having a blast. I was half afraid he was going to slide into home plate when he was rounding the bases at one point because it had rained that morning, so the field was a bit muddy. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, he didn't, so I didn't have to worry about the laundry on that. But, I mean, yeah, just him and trying to, make the best life possible for, him and my family in general is probably like the biggest priority outside of the VO world.
That makes sense.
Was it Challenger Baseball? Was that the name of the baseball?
That is it, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. We did that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really great coaching staff. I actually started volunteering since we joined it. So, yeah, it's a great program, great group of people, and the best thing is you're around other like-minded parents who know what you're dealing with.
Yeah,
they understand the struggle.
Some of the victories I had with that when my son was doing. Oh, sorry, Mitch. We'll get to VO in a second, but. It's because you're dealing with kids of all walks of ability. Just the whole range of ability.
Yeah,
and,
that's really true. I mean, they're all, when they say it's a spectrum, you see it when you see like 20, 30 kids out on a baseball field, and they're all, one kid's off on the corner, picking grass off the field, and other kids just, spinning around, looking at the sky.
Yeah.
You have the,
and they got an aide for every kid. Every kid gets an aide. The one why was that? Every kid had an aide volunteer. Every kid had their own
just about.
aide volunteer.
And a lot of the parents come out on the field and they, they'll be hanging with the kids and everything. And I remember last weekend, one of the coaches, once my son had gotten a hit and gotten on base, he says to him, do you want me to help you run the bases? My son goes, no, I know what I'm doing. And I just died when I heard that.
Yeah. I say one of the best things, one of my greatest accomplishments in life, honest to God, a hand to God, is pitching to the kids in Challenger Baseball and like pitching to a kid that's blind, and then like they did the work, but I'm the one pitching, and so I feel like, way to go, Mike, you did good work there. So it's a lot of fun, and this one girl, she's so terrified, but she would move the bat slowly closer to her head, and I'm trying to pitch it towards the bat so she can hit it and hum. Anyhow, I might have hit her once, but outside her hand it was softball. But anyhow, we'll talk VO. Well, Mike, Eric, sorry, VO.
Sorry, VO. Well, that's a fun segue. So, sorry, VO. Yeah. You, I bet, were a fetus just speaking into the umbilical cord, making funny, weird voices. Where did Eric...
It wouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah, because I've mostly been freaked out by your acting that I've seen because I listen to Herman a lot, and it's skin...
Herman's a lot of fun, thank you. I really have a great time when I get into his charactering.
Yeah, thank you for that. Creeped out once again.
Who's Herman? Tell me, Eric. I don't know who he is.
Herman Edward Coxland. He's a serial killer who has died and gone to hell, and now he's wreaking havoc amongst the dead in hell. He's a very fun character in the series, Leo Braun.
And you can hold that too long, I think, but
shift in and out of it at will,
which is perfect.
Wow.
Exactly. But something led you there. I'm sure Herman wasn't your first character. What?
No,
take
for
us
sure.
back, please, to as young of Eric as you want.
I mean, my first foray into acting, probably like a lot of kids, was grade school plays. The old school, showcases and whatever. Sixth grade, it was a 1950s musical review, and I was playing the role of the school nerd. This was early 90s, so Steve Urkel was very much in fashion, was, in pop culture. And I happened to do an Urkel impersonation, which I turned into this character, and it just became legendary. And that was probably where the bug first bit. Kept on doing school plays, finished up grade school, middle school, did plays all through high school, started musical theater at that point. Actually found out I had a okay singing voice.
That's enough.
Yeah, did a couple things in college, and then honestly took several years off at that point just because life got in the way. But then that was when I actually rediscovered community theater and picked up a lot of, went back into doing musicals, exploring some comedy. Actually, finally got to do some drama. All my life, it was either musicals or comedy, and I jumped at the chance to actually get to do drama. It was Shakespeare, of all things. And I leapt at it because I wanted that chance to stretch my dramatic chops, as it were.
What play was it?
Macbeth, of all things.
Okay. What role did you play in it?
I was one of the murderers. I got to kill Banquo.
Oh.
That's exciting.
That was a lot of fun.
Is
Awesome.
there fighting involved in that? Is there stage play in that?
There was some stage combat,
Yeah.
yeah. We did a little bit in terms of when I had to kill Banquo in that one scene where there was a little bit of some fisticuffs and then grab him by behind and slit the throat.
Oh gosh.
That was done with the lights down, obviously, so
Yeah.
the audience didn't actually see it, but
Still.
yeah, that was and just getting the opportunity to do some Shakespeare was a great opportunity. It was just, and then right before the pandemic was, and this is probably, you probably heard this story amongst a lot of VO artists that are around. I guess a lot of my contemporaries was when I took my very first intro to VO class. It was January of 2020, a month and a half basically before the pandemic started.
So weird. There must have been a lot of advertising or something right before
I guess
then.
there must have been, because I know so many people who started right around that time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, somebody must have known and then sent out all this stuff so we could work remote.
It's a big conspiracy, man.
So you started training. Where do you pick that up? How do you find training? How does that work for you?
I found, of all things, a Facebook ad for Such a Voice.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, let's check this out. Do the intro class, see if it, is something that's in my wheelhouse. Took the intro class, and they're like, yeah, do this. You've got some chops there. With some training, you could really get somewhere.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, well, man, where do I sign? let's do it.
Was it the voices thing, or was it more of a commercial? Like, what did they love about you and what you were bringing?
I wish I could. I guess it was the delivery with the read that I was given. It was the intro class was just like a brief intro coaching. Like, we went over the read. Gave it a couple different adjustments to see how I responded to direction. Discovered I'm good at taking direction.
That's the thing.
And kind of, it went from there. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'd like to set you up with so-and-so. Classes will be, this, then after, a certain amount of time, once they, feel everything's copacetic, we'll look into doing demos and all that fun stuff. And at that point in time, oh my God, my original gear, what you're looking at here is a total upgrade from where I started. I started in a PVC cage with moving blankets, a simple basic Rode NT1A microphone.
This thing?
Yeah, that would be it.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah, there she is. In fact, you know what? It might actually even be in the floor of my booth right now, because I think I still have it. I didn't get rid of it. Yeah.
You cemented it into the floor.
I am now using the Neumann TLM 102. Obviously,
right.
I built this space around me here, complete with auto-mute padding and everything. This noise floor in this room is incredible. It's about like minus 80 plus, if not more.
Wow.
Also, thanks to my Apollo interface and all the plugins and everything with that. Yeah, I have definitely upgraded over the years from where I started, the humble beginnings.
Okay. And I don't know if Mike's hip firing a question here, but I did have one little thing. I bought all my stuff right away because I'm a quitter. And if I spend the money, I might not quit. You know, you buy the canoe, you might actually go canoeing. So what does it look like after you start training? Like, do you start grabbing jobs right away? How do you find work, or how do you find anything?
Right around the same time when I was set to record my demos, that was when I actually recorded my very first paying gig. I landed a 3-book audiobook series through ACX.
Whoa. Wow.
Totally lucked out on that. I mean, it was a fun series. It was a fantasy series, so it was right up my alley. I'm a huge D&D nerd, fantasy stuff. So being able to do different characters and that, and that was a lot of. But I also discovered at that same time that I hate audiobooks. At least I hate the editing process.
Oh goodness, yes.
It was such a slog because you'd spend a couple hours recording, but what people outside of the industry at least don't know is that for every hour you spend recording, it's probably 2 to 3 hours editing. Or more.
4 for Mike.
Or 4, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's only like 1 hour tops. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, and they say, it gets easier once you get more seasoned with it, but still, it's a lot of work. And I know now you can outsource some of that. That's something I didn't know at the time. So probably looking back, I mean, I've sort of looked to get back into. I actually just got added on to an audiobook roster not that long ago, so I'm kind of looking to get back into it, as long as I don't have to do all the editing work.
Now, did you change how you do? How did you initially record it? Just keep it recording and then go back later, or did it just start and stop?
I basically would just put like a marker in if I had to make a mistake, so I knew where to go to put the edit in. But yeah, I would just roll.
Mm-hmm.
I got to a place with doing on the one I did I just stopped everything and just clicked back. So I was recording it good the whole way through. So I was editing as I went, and I found that to be infinitely easier. But the first couple times I did it, but I've not done enough to know the best way to do it. But yeah, I guess that's what I found the best. But yeah, it's a pain. Have you done it, Mitch? Have you done a book?
I've never done it.
Oh, it's not fun.
Some people have now likened it to having a child and then saying you're never going to have one again, and then a little while later, when you've forgotten the pain of having a child, you have another child. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not having kids. I might never do an audiobook. Now, maybe I will, because why not try something that scares the hell out of me as I'm learning? But boy, oh boy, you guys, good on you. And your first paid gig? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was.
That's amazing.
Ironically, about 2 weeks ago, I actually picked up an $11 royalty check off of that audiobook.
Oh my God!
5 years later.
Yes.
It's probably one of the last ones I see, because I think the royalty period is running out on it at this point. But
okay,
how does that work? Okay, you might be the first person to bring up royalties on the podcast. Maybe Mike already knows, but I need to know. How do royalties work in this business, or at least in your realm?
For the audio
At least as far as ACX goes, it's based on sales of units. You get a percentage of whatever it sells in that given month.
Okay. Interesting.
And so that's the standard. ACX has that standard, and it doesn't change it. That's just what when you sign up for ACX, that's what you get, that contract.
It varies, because it can be either what they call the royalty share, which you get a percentage of the sales, the author gets a percentage of the sales. There's royalty share plus, which is royalties plus a per finished hour rate, I believe, and then they also do just a straight per finished hour rate.
Did you go for the middle one, the per finished hour plus?
I wasn't too well schooled on it at that point, so I just went for whatever was there.
Okay.
And got the offer and said, hey, I'll go for it, sure.
Cool.
Wowza. Man.
Did your performance get better as the books went on?
I think so.
Yeah.
Only because I think I tried to put a little more character into the various characters and really tried to make them stand out. Okay, so this voice is this guy. This voice is this guy. I think a lot of that, what originated with that was probably my background in going back to, again, playing a lot of D&D. Because my real foray into voiceover probably started with running D&D games for my friends.
Okay,
and
cool.
I would be playing all of the non-player character, all the NPCs, and they're like, you are wasting your time playing all of these guys when you could be making money playing multiple people.
Yeah.
And that was probably the thing that planted the seed.
Okay. So we found the seed. We found where it got planted. How do you nurture that seed? You may have noticed, you guys, this isn't easy. Especially for... no, it's not easy for anybody. What keeps you going? I mean, I know you're obviously a great storyteller. You got a gig almost right away, which for me, like, I'm not going to tell you how jealous I am. But what keeps that light burning, that fire burning in you when it gets hard?
Don't get too jealous, Mitch, because not long after that well went dry for a while.
Okay.
I will be completely honest. I can't even count on two hands in the past 5+ years that I've wanted to walk away, or I've thought about walking away, just because I'm not booking anything. They keep saying no. Nothing's happening. And it's been the VO community that has basically said, no way, dude, you're not giving up. You came this far. You've done this, that, and the other thing. You hang in there. You keep up with the marketing. You keep up with the practice. You attend the workshops. You go to what conferences you can afford to go to, but you do not quit. And that's probably been the one thing that's kept me in the game, is the motivation and the support of everybody else saying, no, you do have talent. Stick with it. It'll come.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That's good to hear.
Because I know from experience, among everybody I've ever met, you are the hardest person on yourself in VO.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm second
God,
place. I didn't think I could be in second place for that. Of the people I've met, people going like, dude, just come on, man. Don't you see it? Don't you see it in yourself?
Oh, the amount of imposter syndrome every single day is probably the hardest thing to overcome. And just in this industry, because you hear no so much.
Yeah.
And
or nothing.
That little voice in your head is like, why am I doing this if I'm not seeing anything?
Yeah.
And then it's the love of acting. Honestly, that's probably one of the things that keeps me going, because I love performing. I love playing Herman. I love getting into characters. I love, I was saying to Mitch before we got started, I had an audition not that long ago to play Batman. I didn't get it, but to play Batman, what 11-year-old kid doesn't dream of being Batman?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mike, tell us, where does that well of confidence, that never-ending well of confidence, come from as a voice actor that I've seen out of you? Is that all a facade?
Out of me? Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it could be just I don't get out much, and so maybe I don't know how well other people are doing. I don't know what it is, why I like the sound. You hear people say that I like the sound of my own voice. I do like the sound of my own voice, and maybe that's part of my problem, right? Because I don't know where it comes from. I was thinking back when you talked about your first job. I remember my first job, and I don't think it was ever, like, it was one of those jobs where, like, we talked initially, then once I delivered the audio, I never heard from the guy again. So I don't think it went anywhere. Well, you know what? Actually, one of the second job I think I got was an Austrian company, and they just loved my voice. And because there was an interesting thing, because there was a bit of a pronunciation requirement to get the people's names right, they had an infinite level of patience with me because of the pronunciation requirement. And so I guess I was nurtured in that way.
And German's not easy to begin with. Trust me, I'm half German, I know.
Okay. And then the second thing that happened to me was the Max the Bear job. Was Voices of Freedom. And that one, the guy that I was working with, John Kahn, I believe was his name, I parroted him. He was an excellent director. He knew what he wanted, and I didn't have the acting ability to bring this character to life, but he did, and I had the voice for it. So he would do Born in a Cramped Cage in Montana, and I would do Born in a Cramped Cage in Montana. Silver Springs, they called it. Silver Springs, they called it. And the melody that he gave me was just eye-opening. It was incredible, the melody that he created with the words. And once I heard myself at the end of the day, I think that was, that gave me a bunch of confidence, I think. Just that one thing, the Max the Bear thing. It's not about me tonight. But
that's
anyhow,
okay.
Sometimes all it takes is a great director.
Yeah, there's such a difference in directors. So this guy was brilliant. And we got into a rhythm. It was a relationship thing. We just got into a great rhythm. We're on the phone for about an hour and a half, and he just fed me the line, and then he finished the line. And then I did the line, and then it was just so brilliant. Anyhow, what good directors have you had, Eric? I would love to hear about some.
Probably one of my favorite people to work with has been Fanny Brett. If anybody's worked with Fanny and Max at Seven Holdings Media.
No.
I did a live-action dub with them back in September. Hasn't been released yet, so I can't really talk too much about it, but Fanny's direction is just phenomenal. She will get you into that place where you need to be. And in the film that I did, I did a lot of the incidentals. So I was about 7 different people in the span of an hour and a half of work in the booth. In one scene in the movie, I'm 3 different characters in a 30-second scene. Wow. So having to change the dynamics of my voice and get into 3 different characters in rapid succession, she was just phenomenal in getting that out of me. That's probably one of my greatest experiences with any kind of live direction has been working with her and Max.
Whoa. What's one or two of the things she did to kind of pull that out of you?
Setting the stage is probably the biggest thing. Like, all right, look at the scene. This is where you are. You are, you're being interrogated. You're scared. You're intimidated. Let that come out in your voice because you're this guy. You're not going to be seen as this guy, but you are voicing this guy. So look at how he's acting and bring that in your voice. And it was just, I get it.
How many times do you
totally get it.
How many times do you get to watch the scene before you have to be the guy?
So that's a very interesting thing when it comes to dubbing. Maybe once or twice. You will preview the scene. You'll see at least the one method that Fanny and Max use is called the Rhythmo Band. It's karaoke for voice acting. The dialogue goes across at the bottom of the screen on a small bar, and it just crawls across. And there are markers where you would have to, you have to finish the line before it gets to that marker because that person's lips have stopped moving. You'll watch it once or twice. You'll see the dialogue go by, and then, okay, all right, on this one we're rolling, and you are in character. And this might have been the first time you have seen the script at all.
Wow.
You've had but I love dubbing. Dubbing is just, it's so much fun. Probably because you are required to just be on that quickly. You have, this is it. All right, you've seen it, now go.
Wow. Sounds terrifying, to be honest.
The first time it was, but by the end of the session, and this again goes to good directing, Fanny had me so comfortable that I was like, can we do more? I want to do more.
Boy.
So she kind of got you into the zone and just kept feeding you while you were in the zone. And that's cool. I play Call of Duty a lot, and every 4 weeks I get into like a 30-second zone where I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Those feel really good. The other 29 days, it's tough. But yeah, it's cool that she was able to get you. That's brilliant.
And so when you're doing those scenes, are you this character until they're done with you, and then you're this character, or are you like immediately rapid fire talking to yourself and changing?
No, usually it is one person at a time. You'll do all of that person's dialogue and then say, okay, we're good. Now we're going to move to here. Here's a preview of it. Da, 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 da. Okay, let's roll.
Wow.
And you are this other person. You might get you get a little bit of direction, like, okay, here's what's going on. Here's how we need you to sound. Let's do it. But it's minute or two in between characters. There's almost no time to adjust, and you have to be just so ready to switch gears on the fly. Especially, that's in the case of like having to do multiple incidentals. I can't say, obviously you're only playing one character. You're that same person doing the dialogue throughout, so that might be a lot easier.
Interesting.
That's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
I've had some good
really
directors at times, and it's amazing the difference there is between the good and the bad, and you really cherish the good ones. It's funny. This one guy I've worked with his delivery is so like, oh, that's great, Mike. I'd like you to try it again. But he gives me great words when it is dry delivery, and so once I picked up on that, I was able to listen to the words. So yeah, it's great having a good director.
Yeah, and you don't always get direction. Obviously, you most of the time have to be the guy. I mean, that's how it feels. Just getting a little pat on the bum from a director, just a little like, you messed up, you got this. Not like that. Hearing that in an hour-long session was like, oh yeah, like we're just playing around here, bud.
That's probably one of the biggest things I love about live directed sessions versus just having to record on my own is getting that instant feedback. Like, okay, even if that was good, but we can do it this way. You're not treating it as a negative or as a criticism. You're like, yeah, okay, let's try it that way.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you just, you get that redirect and it's just gold.
You got to keep those with you, too. Like, you're not going to always hear that. You got to remember what that director said before sometimes, because I'm not nice to myself in here all the time.
No.
I know Mike's always praising himself for what a great voice he has.
All the time. Mitch, what good directors have you run into? What good direction have you had? Good stories are good.
Yeah, that one was the newest one. No problem. Just go ahead. This is a fun thing. You're having fun. Go ahead. Literally, like, dust your knee. You scraped your knee, little boo-boo kiss, and then goodbye. And then that was. But the best part, I think, was since I am a sarcastic man, and they felt that in me, and the script bled sarcasm, even though it was smiling sarcasm. They leave the session, and they come back and they go, we cut out some of the words so you can be more sarcastic. And be more sarcastic was I had the best chub that day, just acting. It was pretty sweet. And so I've never dubbed. Okay, I did a tiny bit of dubbing for an animation. How do you find work like that? Because I've never met anyone other than a couple people who've done it.
There isn't a lot out there in the way of remote dubbing, which can be tricky to book work. Seven Holdings Media is one of the few out there that I know of that does almost everything remote. I have found a couple of other studios out there lately that I did just get onto rosters for, so I'm just waiting on some work to come in. But a lot of dubbing is based out of LA. I'm unfortunately East Coast, so it's harder to get those opportunities. I mean, heck, anyone out there is watching, I'm open to the commute. I will get on a plane in a second. Just let me know, Call me, baby.
Yeah. We'll put his credentials up on the posts. Don't you worry about it, you guys.
But yeah, so I mean, it's trying to find the remote work is probably more because there's Netflix works out of L.A., Amazon works out of L.A., so sometimes they'll hire the remote, the studios that will work with remote talent. Remote talent is out there, Hollywood. Call us. We're right here.
Oh boy. I don't want to gloss over the fact that Mike may or may not have at least one locked and loaded question that we were prepared for. Is that correct, Mike? Other than the
Me? Oh, I mean, I kind of asked it there a little bit with the good. I think it's easy to say, tell me the horrible story thing, the horrible people you ran into. I like hearing about the great people you run into. And so that's a loose question open. Like, who have you, like, there's this one, I'll put a shout out to him. This voice actor, Ross Huguet in Vancouver.
Hi, Ross.
Has just been so supportive of me early on. And I think why he is because he saw the effort I was putting in. I think a lot of people contact him, but his replies were sort of shorter. But then as he saw that I was committed to it, he was a very kind man and is very successful voice actor. Anyhow, who has been good to you? And I'd love to shut up and hear your answer.
I'll tell you, probably one of the people that has been the kindest and very supportive is Roy Yokelson. Big shout out to Uncle Roy, because he has helped me with audio issues, technical issues. I remember back when I booked Genshin Impact. I didn't have this fancy setup yet at the time, and I had a lot of issues with echoes and noise floor issues with my setup. And Roy was kind enough to offer me to come up to his place, Antland Studios, and record the session there.
Whoa.
Wow.
I drove up that morning, spent about half hour, 45 minutes in the session. Roy actually offered to go out to lunch afterwards, but I had to get back home because my son was getting sent home from school sick, so I had to go home and pick him up. So I had a jet from North Jersey. Fortunately, I'm only about an hour from Roy's place, but Roy has been just a mentor, a resource, just an all-around good guy. I mean, who doesn't love Uncle Roy?
That's cool.
Yeah, everybody I've heard that knows him loves him and his barbecues. Have you been to this barbecue?
I have. I have been to 3? Yeah, 3.
Oh my gosh, what the heck? Yeah, okay, can we get some insider on that? I just want to know, what is this like?
A lot of
Mitch needs
alcohol.
an invite.
A lot of alcohol.
Okay.
But it's a lot of camaraderie. It's just people swapping stories, sharing drinks. You've got the live band going the whole time.
Wait, what?
People who think they can sing or want to sing will go up or perform or play with the band. I got up to sing one time. We're not going to talk about it. There was definitely some alcohol involved before I got up there.
This makes sense.
But yeah, it's just a fun afternoon, evening, just around like-minded people, and it's I don't know if you've ever attended a conference or a convention. It's a lot like the after-hours activities at conferences and conventions.
Oh, yeah.
When you're just letting loose, you're shooting the shit with people.
Man, that's great. I might sneak in. I might jump that fence this summer.
It's one of the, I'll say, sorry,
No.
Mitch, I totally stepped
You're
on
good.
you. I thought you were kind of
That's
finished.
pretty
We're
much
gonna
it,
pause
Mike.
there. Okay, good.
I'm
I'll
calling
jump
you
in there
Mikey.
then.
You're just Mike.
I don't mind either way. You go. I'm cool with
Regan.
it. My point was, I'm competing against myself. I don't feel like I'm competing against Eric and Mitch whenever I audition for a job, because I think of it as the client wants my voice if they want my voice. So again, I imagine that's what a lot of people in the industry feel, but someone on the outside may look at it as, well, you're all competing against each other. Sort of, but it's more me giving the best performance. And I don't know, would you guys, I don't feel like I'm in direct competition with people. Even though I am, but I'm not.
I would have to agree with you there, Mike. I mean, I adopted the mantra a long time ago of the only person I'm in competition with is the person I was yesterday. And that's the philosophy I take to any of my auditions, any of my reads. Yeah, I mean, I might have an audition that you also submitted for, or Mitch also submitted for, but the casting director is going to choose who they feel is the best voice for the role. It's not me competing against you. It's whoever fits the role best. So it's not a competition. It's just you didn't fit or I fit, and, you know, they'll think of you next time because you would fit better for that role.
I got to push back, you guys. See, I mean, I absolutely agree with you there. And for the most part, I can do that. But there have been about 3 big times I can think of right now where I'm like, Christ, this guy's just wiping the floor with me. Like either acting in a room with somebody who's so good, and you want to see it, right? You want to see someone who's so good it gives you tingles. But you're also like, he's doing it the way I would want to do it.
And I think that would be a different experience if you were in the same room with these other people auditioning. Thank God, you know, we're not in the time where it was the mass open call with like 30 people in the same room giving the same read. Because I think then I probably would be a lot more nervous, be like, oh my God, that guy was so much better than me. Then the imposter syndrome would set in.
Right.
What am I doing here? I can't compete with that.
Yeah. I found out there's other Mitchells in the business, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, there's at least 2 others. That's not fair. Okay? And he's like the guy who might take my place here. I haven't even asked him, so shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
He's a great impressionist. I can't do impressions for shit.
Oh, man.
This is terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring him on. That'd be awful.
He could ruin everything. Okay, so we're kind of getting towards the part where I get all weird and I gotta start acting. We gotta do Chat GPT. I'm not even gonna play that role, you know, because that's Mike should be doing that really. But I do need to ask you, since I set you up earlier. Is there anybody? And thank you, Mike, for that question. I might steal that from you in later episodes.
You should.
Because we want to keep it positive here.
Yeah.
So
people do like the dirt sometimes.
Sometimes.
But this fun. But we're not.
So we got Roy as like a staple in the industry who brings so many people along with him and brings a positive light to the world. Who are you seeing sort of maybe coming up that you think I need to know about, Mike needs to know about, and the listeners need to know about?
I mean, I'll tell you, it's just someone in the business that I absolutely love. I mean, I consider this guy like a brother, is Terry Briscoe. Terry Briscoe is just, he will give you the shirt off his back and then some, if it will help you out in some way. He's a super talented actor. Just an all-around great guy. He's a great family man. And he amazes me even with everything he overcomes with his disabilities and everything. Some people may not know. I believe it's MS, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Terry,
Yep.
Forgive me if I'm
That's
wrong.
right.
But
Don't forgive him, Terry. Sorry.
But I mean, I love Terry to death, and he's underrated, underserved in this industry. He deserves everything he gets, and I mean, I just love the guy.
I agree. Terry is Mike. If you haven't met Terry yet, we're gonna set that up. Terry is such a, I don't know, what do they call it? I'm not gonna just say gem. He's a
to use the term, he's a mensch.
He's a mensch. He's just so cool to hang out with. I got to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So thank you, Eric.
In fact, I have a great picture of he and I from the last barbecue at Uncle Roy's, where we were sort of in character with our roles from Leo Braun. So if you don't know, my character is a very big fan of his character.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. He's in the Leo Braun thing as well.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
if you go back and listen, many of our guests have been sourced from the Leo Braun cast, crew, and writing.
Nice.
Thank you for that, Eric. Is there anything else you need to leave us with before we get into acting? Is there anything else we need to touch upon?
Hey, pay a visit to ericcarlino.com. Give me a shout out. Give me an email. Let's talk. Let's make something happen together.
Talk to Eric, and he won't talk to you in that voice. I promise. Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe you will. I mean, if you really want to, if it's float your boat or anything like that. I mean, I mean, there might be. Are there any ladies out there that like?
Wait, no, stop. Wait, stop. Okay, we're gonna come back with.
I'll stop right
We're
there.
gonna come back with a script with it for you guys. Please wait 1 second. And we're back, as Mike Pelletier would say. Do you want to say that for us, Mike? Can you say, and we're back?
And we're back.
I'm not even going to cut the part where I say it. That's how awkward you're going to do this thing.
Oh, good.
So, these two gentlemen put together, this was almost not me, it feels like. We put together a fun little thing for you. Picnic at End Times between Alfie, the chest-bursting alien, Jen, who had her spine removed, but she's still conscious, surprisingly upbeat, and Troy, her date, her sad date. So I'll start us off here. You guys ready?
Yes.
Be ready. A sky looms overhead. A rickety picnic blanket is spread out. I still don't know what that means. A half-eaten charcuterie board lies between Alfie, Jen, propped up awkwardly, and Troy, who's nervously slicing brie. This blue cheese is divine. Thanks for bringing it, Troy.
Anything for you, Jen. Even if your spine is, gone.
Oh, thank you. That was my doing. First time removing one clean. Like pulling string cheese from a meat balloon.
Oh, and you're so good at it. I didn't feel a thing until I felt everything, you know?
Yeah, Alfie. Quick question. What exactly... I don't know what the fuck... Okay, sorry. Alfie, yeah, Alfie, quick question. What exactly are your intentions with us? Where the hell was my voice earlier? Sorry, I'm breaking character all the way through.
Don't break
Yeah,
it, Troy.
sorry. Oh,
We're
Alfie,
here.
quick question. What exactly are your intentions with us?
Just companionship and maybe mild anatomical curiosity. Also, your liver looks emotionally repressed.
Okay, cool.
Besides, Jen's spine made such a lovely centerpiece.
Alfie gestures to the spine, artfully curled in a glass vase like a macabre bouquet.
Honestly, it's kind of romantic.
Romantic. Jen, you're being held together by dental floss and hope.
Hey, we all need a little support sometimes.
Would you like some bone marrow pate?
Hard pass. No.
Humans, so picky. I just want friends who don't scream so much when I hatch.
Beat a low rumble. Alfie's chest pulses.
Wait. Are you?
Oh dear, I might be pregnant.
Oh, is it mine?
Whew.
I'm okay with not being
Chat
good at these
GPT,
things.
you never
obviously.
disappoint.
No.
That was exceptionally weird. It could have been that Eric Carlino said sci-fi, and Mike Regan said picnic, and then I might have added a chest-bursting alien.
Mm-hmm.
It got strange. Thank you guys for.
That's the thing, actually. It just being okay with not being good. Like right now, I'm a little embarrassed by the big picture.
Oh, that was flat out terrible, but at the same time, it was hilarious.
Well, moving on to the next one. So,
I'm so glad other people get to experience this with me.
I was,
Because I've been good about 1% of the time. It's always the guests who show us up.
Yeah.
Thanks,
good.
Mike, for being here with me. Thank you, guys. This is the end of the podcast where I say thank you to both of you. And I'll actually let you send us off, Mike. Do you have a quote of the day or anything weird?
I thought about one thing which wasn't very good. You know what? I'll say this: that sharing of good stories is always it's always a good way to go, because it's easy to share the bad. So a little bit of a hopeful thing to share the good and tell people of the good. That's my
Thanks,
parting
Mike.
message to you.
Thank you
like
for
it.
bringing that to us.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, Eric. Bye, Mike. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You're
Great to meet
welcome.
you, Eric.
Yeah, same, Mike. Hope to work with you sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Awkward goodbyes.
Awkward.